It's a true pleasure to be here. And yes, Reverend Leah and I did track each other through 4 or 5 years of ministerial school. And you know how lovely she is. She's just a beautiful, bright soul. And as an old married lady, I took special interest and fascination, really, with her love life. Thank you, Leah, for being single and out there. Source of, yes, I was fascinated, and then I thought, thank God I've been married 40 years. I would not like to be out there at this time. So the odds were about 94% against my being here today. So I am really happy to be here. It's a happy, happy occurrence to be here. But let's go back for just a moment to a time that wasn't so happy. A time that was quite difficult, actually. It was 6 years ago, almost to the day, when I had to go to Anschutz Medical Center. And just imagine you're there with myself and my husband. We're in exam room number 2, not my favorite. It's white, it's sterile, it smells like alcohol. The chairs are not nice like these. They're hard, blue plastic, and they have those wire legs, you know the ones. And in walks in this serious-looking doctor, and he sits down opposite us, and he says, well, all the tests are in. There's no denying it. What you have is inoperable, it's incurable, it's advanced, it's stage 4 lung cancer.
Oh my gosh.
So of the 100 people who were diagnosed the same day I was, 94 have passed.
Wow.
So I feel incredibly blessed.
Wow.
But at that time I was incredibly freaked out because I thought, what? Not me. Not now. I just had retired from Jeffco schools. My first long-awaited grandbaby was just 18 months old, and I had just grown out my long blonde hair. And yet I was thrust unwillingly into this world of oncology and scans and visits and infusion chemo and hair loss and all the rest of it. And I found myself on a certain day backing out of my driveway, and I just lost it. Just lost it. I was banging and banging and banging and banging on my steering wheel, just thinking, this is not fair. This is not right. What if I don't get to see this little baby turn 2 or 3? What if my dear sweet mom buries me instead of the other way around? And so how many of you are practitioners? Yes, yes, yes. You know what we do. We go to prayer. We go to meditation. We all do. And so I had the tiny grain of sense to do that. And in came that beautiful voice of knowing, that still brilliant voice. And it said, stay close to science of mind and spirit. Stay close to those principles. And help me with those principles. What are the ones we hold so dear? Thoughts thicken into things. Deeply we are all one. We are united in source and in spirit. Unfortunately, what we resist persists is another one. But we are all individual manifestations of that one creative ultimate presence, that one source, that amazing energy and love intelligence that imagined us and brought us into being, sustains us with every breath. And so I did stay close to the principles. And lo and behold, I got 1 year of remission, one incredible, radical year of remission. And then I got 2. And then I got 3. And then I got 4. I know, it was amazing. And then I got 5. And yes, I got a little bit cocky, thinking, maybe we've got this. Maybe this is going to work out okay. And so, imagine you're back with me now at the 5-year point, which was about in March of last year. And we're back in exam room number 2. I do not like that room. And we're in those cold plastic chairs, and it's a white sterile room, and in walks the same doctor. And he said, "You've been doing so well, I don't know what happened." Yeah, but between your last scan and this one, you grew 13 brain tumors. Brain tumors, yeah. I lost it again, trust me on that. And yet something was different, profoundly different. I think if you'd told me in 2014, someday you're gonna have to deal with brain tumors, I would have thought, I can't bear that, let's just chuck it in now, you know? But by 2019, something was different. Something was bearing me up. And so I thought, well, I think I should probably find out what that is. And maybe I can share that with other people. So I had kept journals these 68 months. And so I went back and I looked at page after page, word after word. I'm kind of wordy, you'll get that. And so one thing kept coming out at me over and over again from those pages of my journals. And it was the fact that spirit heals. Spirit does the healing. I wasn't doing any of this with my little diet and exercise plan and some other fancy stuff. Spirit heals. So do you want to know how?
Yes.
We bothered to get dressed and come out on Sunday morning, right? So I just created this acronym of JOY, J-O-Y. 3 lessons, 3 things. I go through a few Kleenex usually in a talk. Yeah. And the J, the O, and the Y help me remember this talk, and then hopefully it's something you can take home as well. So the J is for join with spirit. How many of you own a kitchen timer? How about a cell phone?
Oh, that too.
How about a smartwatch?
No.
A Fitbit? Any of that? Okay. Well, what I have found particularly helpful to me is to use my Fitbit as both a medication and, she's got one right there, a fancy one, an iWatch, a medication and a meditation reminder. So many times a day when it vibrates and reminds me, but you can do this with almost any piece of technology. You can make it your spiritual technology and just go to spirit. You can do it with meals, you can do it even trips to the bathroom, but whatever reminds you to take these breaks during the day to go from maybe a little bit of stress and straining with life to relaxing and repairing with life, I find incredibly helpful. So what I do, just as an example, you'll do it your way, is I just close my eyes and I do an inner smile, which we're going to practice at the end of this talk in about 12 minutes. And then I just let spirit flow and deepen and expand. And my shoulders drop and my low belly does what it wants to do. And I am just filled and infused. And I become so aware that I am intimately and inextricably, ineffably joined to spirit. And I go to gratitude. Immediately I'm infused with calmness, safety, security, and the desire to go on. Because I am so completely joined with spirit. It is indeed the essence of every cell, corpuscle, and tissue of our bodies. Body, mind, and spirit. So that's what joining with spirit is all about. That's the J. That's the first lesson. The second one is O. And O stands for opening to spirit. And I want to read to you a quote from Ernest Holmes. He said, It is the awakening of divinity that is present in every person, which produces the healing. It's that awakening. It's that opening to your spark of divinity. I love that you have a candle here. There is a candle within each one of us that burns brightly. It is spirit. And when we open to that, we open to so much more. We find that we're not closing off to relationships or to events or scenarios that may be blocking our good. I like to think of it as being open to certain people and perspectives that are good for us, that feed our soul. And then just saying no thank you to all the rest, but being open to those people and those places and those perspectives that feed your soul. And I think that's our divine right. I think we are meant to be happy on this worldly walk, regardless of what other things are happening. And I have a difficulty of a certain kind, but doesn't everyone have them? I mean, it's just part of the worldly walk. They might be physical, they might be emotional, they might be mental, they might even be spiritual difficulties. Have all of us had the dark night of the soul? Have you? Yeah, where you think, what the fortune cookie is it?
I wondered where you were going with
Well,
that.
there you go. I didn't, that's not written anywhere, and that's came in, but yeah. I mean, the day before I was diagnosed, I was playing the best tennis of my life. I'm a never smoker. I really did think, what the fortune cookie's going on. They must have the wrong chart. But no, sometimes in this unknowable universe of universes, we are asked to learn lessons we never thought we'd be presented with, right? And I loved your seed, soil, plant slide as well, because it's as simple and as difficult as that. It's as simple as that because we do get planted in this wonderfully rich philosophy of science of mind and spirit. But then it's up to us to nurture our own plant and to grow that. But if we are open to the growth, if we are continually asking that question, what else wants to emerge? Not, damn it, look what's happened, but what else wants to emerge? Then we get lessons from everywhere, just as we have already today in 45 minutes, hearing from the Dalai Lama, hearing the Desmond Tutu quote, Ernest Holmes, the words of the beautiful music. Lessons are everywhere if we are open to spirit. And the third lesson, the Y, stands for yield. Remember that little science of mind and spirit principle about if you resist, it persists? So I'm from Oklahoma, played a lot of kick the can in my life out in the middle of the street, right? When every parent raised every kid up and down the block. Well, the worst thing that could happen to you during a game of kick the can was to have to surrender, right? Have to go, oh, you found me, I lost, you won. So I learned about the crop of brain tumors in March, and I had been treated in April. That's where my hair went. You saw in that one slide. I don't miss it very much. And then in May, I signed up as quickly as I could for Roger Teal's meditation retreat. So I got myself in a chair, in a room of people to meditate. And Roger was presenting 9 postures of meditation. He got to this one, you guys, and it was called Ceaseless Surrender. Ceaseless surrender. And I had all this stuff come up inside of me, and I was like, what? I am not waving a white flag or throwing in the towel or saying, this got the better of me. That's not in me. And so I was having this internal dialogue that was just raging, and I thought, what is happening here? And I peeked my eyes open, and all the other adults in the room are in a state of bliss, a lovely state of meditation. And I thought, oh yeah, go there, Linda, go there again. So I let my shoulders drop, let my belly expand, I got quiet. And that still beautiful voice came in again. I don't know where it comes from or where it goes, but thank goodness we get to have it. And it said, just replace the word surrender with yield. Well, I can yield. I yield all the time in traffic on I-25, right? A bigger, stronger force comes through and I say, take it away, it's your lane. Well, that's what I find I'm being asked to do with difficult situations. Yield them. Give them over. Let them go. Accept and trust that I will be supported. And I always am. I always am. Because it's spirit that is always ever present, ever giving, ever powerful, ever generous, with all of its information and possibilities and peacefulness. And so I yield. I don't resist. I don't care for all this to persist. Thank you very much. Letting it go. And so I yield. J, joining with spirit. O, being open to spirit and people and perspectives that serve the advancement and unfoldment of my soul. And then yielding. Yielding to spirit and being comfortable that I live in an unknowable, ineffable universe. Do any one of you or I keep the planets in perfect orbit? No. Do we even draw our next breath? No. It is drawn for us. Do we circulate the wonderful blood in our cardiovascular system? No. All of that is provided for us. I mean, I live in such great gratitude for that. I don't tell a lung cell when to live and die, when it's outlived its usefulness. All of that is taken care of by this unknowable, ineffable, amazing, awe-inspiring presence and power that we dwell in. So I invite you to live in that joy right along with me by joining, opening, and yielding. And as our last prayer, we're going to do that inner smile, if you'd like to, and just feel what that's like. It's actually a prayer that comes to us from the ancient tradition of Qigong. So get comfortable where you are. Thank you, Karen. And just begin by closing your eyes, relaxing your whole body, letting your brain rest comfortably and effortlessly on your breath. And breathe slowly and smoothly, letting go of any tension in your body on your exhalation. Smooth your facial muscles. Let your shoulders drop and your low belly relax. And silently and energetically just say to yourself, I yield. I yield. And now cultivate a feeling of inner joy. Bring some energy, some joy up from inside of you. Visualize a favorite person or pet or place that may evoke that feeling. Oh, and just open to that bliss now and let it gather up. Let it gather behind your closed eyes and watch it internally as it just flows down and fills your heart center. That wonderful, beautiful heart center. Feel free to let the corners of your mouth raise slightly in a sublime inner smile. energy has flowed down to that happiness center of your chest area. And let that area open with red love nectar and a kindness toward yourself, and toward others. Bring up and out that self-love, that unconditional happiness, that sense of deep safety and relaxation. And on that next exhalation, send a love letter to your whole body temple, the home of your spirit, and thank it for the way that it's coping with life's difficulties, whatever yours might be. Smile at the fact that you're alive, you're living, you're here, and energetically say, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. And come back now from this beautiful, prayerful place of communion with that creative ultimate presence by just maybe wiggling your toes or becoming aware of your chair, and by saying with me, and so it is. And now it is our sacred turn to be generous and joyful as we sing this song.
You do me a favor and give Reverend Linda the most wonderful, warm